All right, let's clap it up. Shalom, DC, with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yahanna. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth of the Bible, and the truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the true Jews, and that the oppressor, our oppressor, is a devil that the Bible speaks of. We are not affiliated with any other Christian churches or Hebrew Israelite groups. 1 West is home of the truth. If it's not under commanding General Yahanna, it is not the truth. I want to give a shout out. Let's see, we got Officer Barack in the building. We also got Trooper Mataya in the building as well. Holding out for tonight's Monday night history class. If anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead, type it in the chat. Go ahead, type that in the chat. We're going to get to it. I also want to give a big shout out, huge shout out to General Katham, who led, our brothers up in New York this past weekend, where we had a clothing drive for our brothers and sisters that are down bad right now. You know what I'm saying? We went out there. He led a charge with brothers from the New York school, the New York camp, from the New Jersey camp, from the Baltimore camp, from the Philly, down to DC, down to Virginia, all the way down to North and South Carolina. We had Florida out there. We had who else we had Chicago out there. We had the whole Midwest. We had Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? We had brothers from
Canada.
We had Canada was out there.
Oh God.
Most High in Christ. Canada was out there. I didn't even know that.
California was out there too.
Cali was out there. Texas was out there. You know what I'm saying? We had brothers who came, converge, descended on New York just so that we can help clothe our brothers and sisters who are just in a not in the best spot right now. You know what I'm saying? The so-called migrants, and when I say so-called, this is really their land. This is really their land. So they didn't migrate. Have that title on them for the oppressor has put that title on them. But we went out there to help our brothers and our sisters out there, and the response that we got, not only from our brothers and sisters, but from all the heathens that was out there that were looking at us like, what the hell is going on? You know what I'm saying? Captain Mackay led. Let's give a big shout out to Captain Mackay. Captain Mackay led the Akim out there on a march that terrified New York City. Utterly terrified New York City. You should have seen it, and you will see it here in a hot second if you hadn't already seen it, because I believe it was already some stuff out there. If you didn't see the lives that was already being pushed out there that were from there, you've seen the response that we got, and moreover, let me tell you something. We had a police presence that was out there, and the police presence that was out there. The guy who was in charge of that little group that was out there saw how the way the men were responding to Captain Mackay and all the generals that was out there, and they were surprised. You know what I'm saying? They were surprised, and they actually said to Captain Zarek, let's give Captain Zarek a huge shout out as well for hosting this event. He told Captain Tazariak that that the migrants, our brothers and sisters, needed to see the black faces out there on the front line helping them. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, our so-called Latino Northern Tribe brothers and sisters think that we are against them, when 100% we are not against them. We are the same people. We are in this together. You know what I'm saying? That it proves out to the mission that we did down in Acuna when we helped the so-called Haitian brothers and sisters. The Latinos was out there as well, and they seen how the way I.S.U.P.K under commanding General Yahanna treated our brothers and sisters down there. Just like they're seeing how the way we treat our brothers and sisters when we was up in New York. More footage is going to come out. You're going to see more and more stuff for what's coming out and whatnot. But what you're not going to see is the Christian church doing that. That's what you're not going to see.
Right.
You know, you're not going to see the Christian church doing that. And you're not going to see whenever they bear their flag, their quote unquote flag, that cross that they bear out, that's a sign of death and destruction. That's a sign of something horrible that's about to come. But when you hear the brothers who ha, you know what I'm saying, coming down the street, marching down the street, you know you're saved. Salakia, you know help is on the way. I would say that better. You know help is on the way, because when the Christian church is in the area, you know that you should know, and I'm about to break it down to you tonight. You should know that is nothing but slow acting poison. Slow acting poison. How do I know this? Because we've been Christians since it was beaten into us for 400 years. Why are we still in the same state that we were in way back when it was beaten into us? When we were told we either accept the cross, the rosary, whatever, or we be beaten, into the grave, or worse. And once we actually accepted, we still got beaten into the grave. What is the difference between between when we accept the Christianity, the white supremacist, doctrine of Christianity back then to now? With the last ones, hired, first ones fired. We have to work 2 and 3 and 4 jobs just to pay the rent and keep a little bit of food in the house. You know what I'm saying? Prices is going up. We can't even buy a loaf of bread without, breaking the bank. It's been a long time since, since we could go to the gas station and just put up and fill up and not have to worry about it. It's been a long time since we were able to do something like that. So Christianity has done nothing but destroy us utterly and completely. Why? Because we look at our situation. We look at our situations and we think, well, it has to get better, because we've been down so bad so long. It has to get better. And if it doesn't get better, we can expire and go to heaven, and then it'll be better there. When really, heaven is right here on earth. Heaven is right here on earth. That's where heaven is. You understand what I'm saying? How do I know this? Because we're living in hell. So-called Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are living in hell. Our shalom, sis. Our Native American Indian brothers and sisters, our Northern tribe brothers and sisters are living in hell right now. So, let's get. Hold on. You have something, Mataya?
Khan, sir. Just not to veer off, but just speaking on Saturday's mission, which was so glorious. The angels, the Most High, Christ, everybody rejoiced off of that. That was the epitome of Ezekiel 37 and 19.
Let's get that. Let's get Ezekiel 37 and 19 and see what you're talking about.
Khan, sir. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 19.
Like, hold on real quick. I'm just going to get there with you. So, just bear with me 1 second. Ezekiel 37 and what?
19, sir.
37 and 19. All right, go ahead.
Khan. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 19. Say unto them, thus say the Lord God, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim.
Right, the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, which is the northern tribe. Ephraim is the chief tribe of the northern kingdom. If you did not know, there was a split in the kingdom. There was a northern kingdom and there was a southern kingdom. The northern kingdom predominantly consisted of the so-called Latinos and so-called Native American Indians. The chief of those tribes is Ephraim. The southern kingdom, which is Judah, Benjamin, and part of Levi, because the other part of Levi went with the northern kingdom to be the priests. Back then, it was a Levitical priesthood, so they went to do their jobs with the northern kingdom as well. So the southern kingdom was predominantly mostly Judah, Benjamin, and part of Levi. So that was the northern kingdom and southern kingdom. So read that from the top again, Baba Kashaw.
Come. Say unto them, thus say the Lord God, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim.
I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim. So like, hold on, 37 and 19, right?
Come, sir.
Okay.
And the tribes of Israel, his fellows. And will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah.
Even with the stick of Judah and his fellows. So it was talking about Ephraim, which is, one of the tribes of Israel, and his fellows, which was the rest of the tribes. You know what I'm saying? That's the northern kingdom. Those were his fellows, right? And even with the stick of Judah, right, which is the southern kingdom. Keep going.
Come. And make them one stick.
And make them one stick. You know what I'm saying? Put them together. Put them together. This what happened this past weekend was the epitome of black and brown uniting. You know what I'm saying? Under one banner. Right? Keep going.
Come. And they shall be one in my hand.
And we shall be one in the Most High's hand. Do you know how powerful we would be under, as one under the hands of the Most High? Do you know how powerful we will be? This is one of the reasons why they, the oppressor wants to separate us and keep us separated and keep us, attacking each other. Some of, I once heard, someone say the most segregated place is a Christian church on Sunday morning. I'm not arguing that, but I would probably say someplace more segregated is the prisons, is the jails. Why? Because blacks stay with blacks. His Latinos, so-called Latinos, stay with Latinos. Whites stay with whites. That's how it is in the jail cells. There may be some sort of I ain't gonna say it may be some sort of respect on some level. Hey, you don't mess with me, I don't mess with you. But for the most part, we don't. There is no brotherhood in the prisons. There is no intermingling in the prisons, right? Did you have something, sis? No sweat. Was that all, Mataya?
Come, sir.
Most High in Christ. That was exactly the epitome of what went on this weekend. Because if we actually come together as one under the Most High in Christ, we can't be stopped. How do I know this? Look at the kingdom that David built. You know what I'm saying? And then when Solomon took over, it was peace, and so it was so great that when a heathen queen came over and saw a gate guard, a security guard on the gate, she thought he was the king of Israel. That's how wealthy, not just wealthy. That's just how strong we were as a nation. A heathen queen was looking to find the king of Israel, and she happened upon a gate guard basically, and she thought he was the king of Israel. Why? Because he was decked out in gold. He was decked out in silver. He was decked out in jewels. A gate guard. Now, if you go to someplace that has security, you look at them, and for the most part, you're not going to think they own that facility or they're in charge of that building. This heathen thought that the gate guard was the king of Israel. That's how strong we were as a people. But Christianity doesn't teach you that. Christianity doesn't even teach you that you are those people in the Bible. Christianity doesn't teach you that. Give me Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 10, if you could. Song of Solomon 1, verse 10. I'm going to teach you who we are and how the way, society makes us, denigrates us for being who we are, even though who we are is in the Bible. Everybody want to be us until it's time to be us. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, I'm going to get there with you. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 10. Let me know when you got it.
Come. This is the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 10. Thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels.
He said, thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels. What does that mean? That means his cheeks, his mouth is beautiful. Why? Because he got them grills in there. He got them grills in there. He got rows of jewels in his teeth. Who is this talking about? Mataya?
Oh, this is talking about Israel, sir.
Who in particular?
Oh, King Solomon.
Who?
King Solomon.
What was his title?
King.
He was the King Solomon. He's the king of Israel. Most powerful man in Israel. He was the king. And how did he look like?
Thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels.
With rows of jewels. He had jewels in his mouth. He had grills. And how and what do they say, we have to look like? They say in order for us to grow up and be an adult and get out of that phase, we have to abide by their standards of, I would say, I wouldn't even say beauty. We just have to abide by their standards of, what an adult's supposed to look like, or what someone who you would take serious, someone who that would look like. But this is King Solomon in the Bible, and he had grills on. You want to know something else? They dug up a skull. I want to say it was in Mesoamerica, probably Mayan. They dug up a skull, and the skull had jewels drilled into the teeth. This is pre-Columbus invasion, because it wasn't. That's what it was. It was an invasion. This was pre-Columbus when he invaded the Americas. They found this skull had jewels, had gold in their teeth. They had gold. They definitely had gold. But I'm talking about jewels. It was drilled into the teeth. Let me see if I can actually find the joint.
It's lucky, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's heavy too, because my time living out there in Arizona and California, I know Issachar is heavy with golds in their mouth, and the more gold you got in your mouth, the higher your standard is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's one of the same as far as how we as so-called Black Americans have the same, I want to say desire, but have the same style as our brothers, in Central and South America.
Right.
The same exact style. They like gold, we like gold. You know what I'm saying? They put it in their teeth. They put it in their, they put it in their nails. They put it in chains around their necks. Put it jeweled out and whatnot. Come on now. Let me see if I can find this whatnot. If I find it, I'm gonna pull it up and I'm gonna let y'all see exactly what I'm talking about. But this goes back to King Solomon. King Solomon had grills in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading that.
Come. Thy neck with chains of gold.
And come on, man. Y'all know who Mr. T is, right? Even if y'all don't know, if he was past your, who, if you're too young to know who he is, but you probably know who he is. Mr. T had, the Mohawk, what was the name of that show? The A-Team?
A-Team, sir.
Yeah, the A-Team. He had a ton of gold chains and gold rings on every finger, multiple rings on his fingers and whatnot. That was Mr. T. And who has it like this as well?
King Solomon.
King Solomon. Just as a funny anecdote, anybody know how Mr. T got all those gold chains and whatnot? No. Let me tell you how Mr. T got his gold chains. Mr. T was just like so many of us, where he actually worked for food. You know what I'm saying? He was a bouncer, and he actually, they would pay him in like steaks and whatnot. They would pay him in steaks. That was his primary, income at the time. He was hold on now. The water, Mathaya.
In the bar.
The water. Hold on. Let me finish the story, and I'm gonna pull it up over here.
Oh, okay.
So he was a bouncer, right? He was a bouncer, and he whenever he would have to break up a fight. Whenever he would have to break up a fight, out, when he's doing his bouncing duties or whatnot, he tossed them, do whatever he do, toss them. They had some gold chains on. If the chain would break and whatever, he would take it and put it on. He would wait for them to come back and say, "Hey, we got into it or something like that, and I may have, lost a chain here." So he would wait for them to come back, and he would give them the chain if they came back. Well, if you see all his chains and whatnot, you see how many people he didn't throw out. That's how he got all those chains. That's like his souvenir for handling his business. But nonetheless, Mr. T, that was part of his image. He had a ton of gold chains, and he had a ton of gold rings. Mathia, if you could get that passage where the Queen of Sheba thought that guard was was King Solomon.
Come.
If you could. And as you're doing that, I'm gonna pull this picture up. I'm gonna pull this picture up and show you what I got here, Salakia. Give me a sec. Bear with me 1 second. Bear with me 1 second. All right. There we go. Boy, I tell you, technology. All right. Let me see if I can share this. No. Hold on now. Now, why can I pull this up over there? Okay. Mathia, you have that scripture?
Come. It's 1 Kings 9 and
Go ahead, pull that up, Baba Shaw. You said 1 Kings, what was it?
I believe it was 1 Kings 9 and
She was talking where it was Queen of Sheba. She came in to try and learn from Solomon because she heard so much about him. Right? And then She happened upon some brother who was a gate guard and whatnot, a guard, I would say. Here we go. Okay. And when she talked to him, she thought it was him. It was King Solomon. And it wasn't. It was a guard. Okay, we ain't gonna get that one. Did you get it?
So I got. I'm here. I'm here. Where it's at? I'm at First Kings, chapter 2. But
First Kings 2.
I'm at First Kings chapter 10, or was it? Was it before that?
You said First Kings.
First Kings chapter 10.
Hold on, let me look at it real quick. Salakia. Yeah, we'll start at verse 1.
All right, This is the book of First King.
Hold on one second. Nah. No, because this one is saying he she just straight up talking to Solomon. Salakia. But yeah, go ahead, read it.
All right, come. This is the book of First Kings, chapter 10, verse 1. And when the queen of Sheba heard the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions.
Oh, so she trying to prove, King Solomon with some hard questions. Why? Because he had a reputation of being the wisest man, right? So she was trying to prove him when really, who are you? Who are you to try and prove, King Solomon? Who are you? Keep reading.
Verse 2. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices, and very much gold, and precious stones. And when she came, and when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. And Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king, which he told her not.
All
And
right,
when
so real quick, a lot of people say, this is proof that Solomon married Queen Sheba when all it says was he talked to her. That's all it says. He talked to her. Has nothing to do with him lying with her. He did have many strange women, but he did not lie with this heathen in particular. Right? Let's keep reading.
come. Verse 3, verse 4. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom and the house that he had built, and the
real quick. That's another thing right here. Heathens come to us for everything. Heathens come to us for everything, whether they accept that reality or not. They 100% come to us for everything. We sent them to the moon. We discover, things that are a help to humanity, whereas they discover things or create things, invent things that are a detriment to humanity. You know what I'm saying? They like to come to us for stuff that builds and whatnot, and Christianity does not teach us that. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the reasons why Christianity Christianity teaches about King Solomon and how wise he was and how people came from afar to learn from him, but they never tell you that he was a black man. They never tell you he had grills in his mouth. They never tell us that. They never tell us that, what's a famous Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is known for having, grills. Putting Even when he went to jail, he had to go and have like a whole dental work that costs, tens of thousands of dollars just to take the gold and the jewels and the diamonds and rubies and all these other kind of jewels out of his mouth, just so he can go to jail. Now, what type of people puts that stuff in his mouth? And if you don't know, Lil Wayne is purported to be a very intelligent man. I don't know if you know this, but and he there's a lot of times, people, rappers, I would say, not rap people, but rappers have this image where we have to, stay in a certain way just so that our brothers and sisters, so that they can sell some records. Some of them aren't pretending, and you can see that, but some of them are. Lil Wayne is one of those guys who you think is just off his rocker, maybe. But if you get down to it, nah, man, this dude is a very intelligent brother. And to be honest with you, if anybody tries to freestyle, just put words together and it makes sense. Rappers are some of the most intelligent brothers and sisters there are out there. Even if they can't freestyle, but they sit down and put, pen to pad and write stuff. That's something that many people cannot do. In order to be a wordsmith like that, you have to have some sort of intelligence about you. You know what I'm saying? And our entertainment brothers and sisters can do that. 100% can do that. So this goes to show you how the way, people come from far and wide to try to learn from us. To learn from us. And why do they do this? Here's a perfect example of how they when they do this. How many times have you heard, what would you rather have? What would you rather do? Have $500,000 or dinner with Jay-Z? How many have you ever heard of that? Anybody ever heard of that? And there's a whole conversation of back and forth about they would rather have dinner or they would rather have the money. How many times have you gotten into an argument or a debate? I won't even say an argument. How many times you have a debate of, would you rather have that money or have dinner with Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, any of them cats? Anybody has ever heard of that? Nah, it's quite, because no one's ever heard of that. Those guys have more money than Jay-Z. Why don't they want to talk to them? Because they come to us for everything. They come to us for entertainment. They come to us for help as far as far as health goes. They come to us for food. Without when I say food, I'm talking about from growing it to serving it to cooking it. You ever seen an Edomite eat a certain type of whether it be a Latino dish or Caribbean dish or a Haitian dish or something like that, and it's like you could see that they never tasted this type of stuff before? Why? Because they don't season their food. They don't know how to do it because they had us doing it for generations upon generations upon generations. But Christian church doesn't teach you that you are literally the salt of the earth. Trifall says, yeah, they take ideas from us. They take everything from us and try and pawn it off as their own. Where do they get this from? They get this from Christianity. Where's Christian? Why does Christianity teach this? Christianity teaches this because it's white supremacy. Christianity has no love for you whatsoever. I just said something. Salakia, what was it? Where were you at? Mathia.
Right here at verse 5.
Read verse 5. Read verse 5, Baruch Shah.
This is 1 Kings chapter 10, verse 5. And the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his minister, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his accent by which he went up onto the house of the Lord, there was no more spirit in her.
Keep going.
And she said to the king, it was a true report that I heard in my own land of thy acts and of thy wisdom.
So real quick, so like it was a true report. So she once she saw all this stuff, you know, his servants and you know, his cupbearers and all his people in his court and that was around him and was actually being able to talk to him. She said, you know, everything that I heard about you was true. Everything that I heard about you was true, right? Whereas you take that, flip it in, and take it to now. You hear people who may have grown up outside of the U.S. and have only access to, you know, Black Americans through social media, through movies, through music and whatnot, and the news. And then when they actually come over here, and I don't know if you've ever, you know, been talked to someone who's like fresh from wherever the hell they come from, and then actually get to know Black Americans, and then because I have, and they would say, you know what, y'all are not like what, you know, the media tells us. Y'all are not, you know, this image that the media portrays about Black people, so-called Black people. You know what I'm saying? Also, one time I remember in particular, one time I asked them, so what do they tell you? They say, man, y'all are violent. We need to stay away from y'all. Y'all have hair trigger tempers, and if we say something wrong, then y'all gang up on us and you know and jump us, or they're, you know, violent, you know, towards women. So they tell their women to stay away from us, which they should. They should. They tell y'all to keep telling y'all women to stay away from us. Tell y'all men to stay away from our women as well. Just let's keep that separate. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep that going, but not for the reason that you thinking, but for the reasons of keeping, you know, why? Because the Most High God said so. The Most High God said so. How do I know this? This is actually in the scripture. Get me. Do you know what I want, Mathia? I think it's in Leviticus. You had a question, sis?
Yes, but it's on another chapter, another verse.
What's that?
It's on a whole nother verse.
Oh, you know what it is? What's the scripture?
Genesis chapter 2, verse 9 through 10.
Let's see, Genesis chapter 2, 9 through 10. You got that, Mathia?
If possible, can I get an explanation on the tree of life and the river into foreheads?
And that's
Genesis.
Genesis chapter 2.
Yes.
So okay, so the question you have is on the tree of life, yes, and the river with two heads.
Four heads.
Four heads. So Genesis 2. So like, yeah. And what was the verse?
9 through 10.
9 through 10. You got that, Mataya?
Come. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 9. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into four heads.
Keep going, Baba Shaw.
Verse 11. The name of the first is Pison. That is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. Verse 12. And the gold of that land is good. There is Bedilim. There is Bedilim and
Bedlam.
Salaki. What you say, sir?
Bedlam.
There is Bedlam and the onyx stone. Verse 13. And the name of the second river is Gideon. Salaki is Gion. The same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia.
Okay, Salakia, go back to verse 9.
Come, verse 9. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Okay. I'm about 70% sure of this breakdown. And because I'm about 70% sure, I'm not gonna mull up the waters with a not thorough breakdown. Here you can do one of two things. You can tune in to General Muhammad's class on Thursday, scripture breakdown, or you can tune in on Wednesday, or come in on Wednesday, and there's a scripture breakdown on Wednesday as well. You can it's one or the other. It's up to you, but I can definitely get a breakdown, or you can come in next week and I'll have the breakdown for you then. But like I said, I'm about 70% sure. I remember Joe Muhammad breaking this down, but I don't remember it 100%. So I'm just going to stay that right there. You had any other questions?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
no sweat. Mathia, what were we getting before? We were getting the do not give thy daughters unto their sons.
Come.
Do you have that?
Come.
It's Deuteronomy 7:3.
Come.
There's something else Christianity doesn't teach you.
Come. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. What does that mean? It's saying that we shouldn't lay with heathens. And what is a heathen? Is someone who is not so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. You know what I'm saying? You want to take it a step further? Even if they are Black, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, I would say prove them. Why? Because once you do that, you stuck with them for life. You're stuck with them for life. If you see someone who you are, interested in, particularly in a particular person, and they like to smoke weed, but you don't smoke weed, you believe that's a sin, which it is a sin, and you decide to lay with them, they're still gonna be a weed head. They still gonna be a drug addict. If you get with someone who likes to celebrate Christmas or their birthday, we can do away with everything, but you must celebrate my birthday. That's a hard pass. That's easy. That shouldn't even be a ifs, ands, or buts about it. But it is not a sin to get with someone of your own nation. When I say someone of your own nation, I'm talking so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. To make life easier, you should get with someone who's like-minded, someone who believes in the law, statutes, and commandments, and fears God, fears the Most High God. And in Christianity, there is no fear of the Most High God. How do I know this? Just look at their choir director, the choir leader. Why is he allowed to prance around the choir like that, the church like that? Huh? Hey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Look at why is the church involved with scandals involving young children? They don't fear God. They don't fear God. Why is it they allow people to divorce each other? Because they don't fear God. Why do they be coming in there smelling like weed? Because they don't fear God. They don't fear God. Why are they coming in there, coming in there after they got out the strip club? Because they don't fear God. Now let me get this. Let me clarify this for you. The church says, "Come as you are," right? But they allow you to stay as you are. That's the big difference between being in the school and being in church. You come in here high, we're going to hold you accountable. That's your one. You should have done it in the first place, but that's your one. Don't come back here high. Don't do it again. We're forcing you to change into the man or the woman that the Most High ordained us to be. Christian church doesn't teach you that at all. That's why they're lying to you. They're lying to you and saying, well, love is love. And if an Edomite loves a Judite, then it's okay. I was just telling a brother today, I just found out that Rich Paul, if you don't know who Rich Paul is, it's LeBron's agent. He's married to Adele. Like, come on, man. Come on. Really? Just because she can sing like a sister doesn't mean she's a sister. And really, she can't sing like a sister. Why? Because there's a ton of sisters out there that's better than her. There's a ton of sisters out there that's better than her. I'm not saying she's bad. And don't get this twisted. Like, seriously. I know there's a lot of brothers out there that has a lot of zeal and be like, well, I don't want to hear nothing from these Edomites. No problem. But in the kingdom, someone's going to have to entertain us, just like we entertained them. Y'all don't remember Fiddler, who had to play whenever Master told him to play? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all, Chicken George, who had to set up the chicken fights and whatnot. Someone's going to have to shuck and jive for my entertainment, and Adele's going to be one of them. Lord allow. You know what I'm saying? Justin Timberlake, he gonna be dancing all the way he be doing his thing. He gonna be dancing in front of me when I call. Hey, get to getting, boy. He gonna be the boy in that day. You know what I'm saying? So don't these comedians. You can laugh at them. You know what I'm saying? What's that? There's an Edomite, Bill Burr. If he's spared, he's gonna be in the kingdom, and he's gonna tell nothing but jokes, and they better make me laugh, or the skin off his back gonna come off. Salakia. Keep reading. See, I done got all the way out, in left field with this. We're talking about, we're not taking them as, husbands or wives, right? Keep reading.
Come on. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
So we should not give our daughters unto their sons. We should not allow our women, our daughters, to marry other nations. And it's not just Edomites, it's Elamite, it's East Indians. You know what I'm saying? It's Ammon, so-called Japanese, it's so-called so-called Chinese, the Africans, all these other people. We're not supposed to be doing that. Keep going.
Con. Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Nor shall we take on his daughter unto our sons. Nor should we allow our sons to bring home an other. We should not allow our sons to bring home another. We don't, we know about Samson. We know about Samson. But what we don't know, what Christian church doesn't teach us, that, Christian church teaches about Samson, but they teach it all wrong. They just say a woman was devious and dealt, wrongly with Samson, when really it was a heathen who wanted to see this, wanted to see us fall. And she would do anything to see another nation fall. They wouldn't do that to their own nation. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth of it. The reason why Samson fell is because he desired other women. It's in the Bible. Even when Samson, went out and came home and told his father, he was like, hey, told his father and mother, hey, I want that nasty Hamite, or that nasty, heathen. He didn't say nasty. He said he wanted that heathen. And his father and mother was like, hey, man, all these women out here that you can get, you can, if even if you didn't want someone from your own tribe, you had Asher, you had Benjamin, you had Judah, you had Levi, you have Simeon, you had Naphtali, you had you had Ephraim, you have Issachar, all these all these choices, and you want a stinking heathen? You want a stinking heathen? This is what his parents was relaying back to him. Why would you want something that's less than? That is not going to have your back. That is not going to understand your struggle. That is not going to understand you need to wash the meat before you cook it. Huh? What? That's not going to understand how to properly cook. I didn't see a video. You probably know what I'm talking about. Is this older Edomite lady, and her son is just like around the corners videotaping his mother cook this food. You know what I'm talking about? You ever see any of those videos? So this Edomite, he's like kind of like peeping around the corner, just watching his mother cook food, and she's like doing it, all wrong. Whatever it is, it's just wrong. And it's like, he comes back, he sees her, and then he cuts back again, and she's like testing it out, and he cuts back. I seen her cook like oxtails, and like kind of, I don't know what the hell she did, but she cooked it for like like 20 or 30 minutes, and then she had to take like a exactly. She had to take like a knife, and like, oh yeah, I don't know what's all the fuss about this and eating it, like, you know what I'm saying? Another nation is not going to understand the complexities of cooking that. What's that Haitian rice? The black Haitian rice? Oh my God. You know what I'm talking about. They're not going to understand the complexity of that. No one's going to understand the complexity of how to cook arroz con chofo. They're not going to understand how to make mofongo. They're not going to understand any of this stuff. Give me a Benjamin dish that everybody knows, but no one knows.
You got chicken stew, brown stew. You got ackee saltfish.
Come on, right there. The ackee salt. Come on.
You got.
They're not going to understand how to do this. And when they put it in front of you, it's an insult. Like, are you serious? First of all, you should, if any of you are married to or joined together with a heathen and they're cooking your food, you should be in that kitchen. Really, you should be in that kitchen making sure, looking at what they're doing. Why? I seen one video where this dude said, what do you expect from us? We're Neanderthals, we're cavemen, we're used to this type of, our stomachs are used to raw meat. Our stomachs are used to eating like that. Why are you surprised? Well, yeah, you're right. I didn't see an Edomites. You ever heard of tartar? Anybody ever heard of tartar? It's raw meat. It's like a mound of raw meat with a raw egg in it. Like they dig like a little well in it and then put a raw egg in there and they eat that mug. I'm like, you nasty. Like, seriously? And that's a dish that these Edomites like. I ain't even gonna get into the East Indians, man. I know y'all seen them videos where they take 5 and 6 different pots, just hold on, put that in there, put that in there. Here, go ahead, eat. I know everybody that I know that has been to India. I've never been to India. Anybody I know that has been to India says they've all gotten that bug. When I say that bug, I'm talking about, they spend about 2 or 3 days in the bathroom. Yes, that's India. That's India for you. But why in the world would you want people that things like that? Don't get me started on that. Oh God. Don't get me started on that red dot. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about the laser. But okay, we're gonna get into it. The East Indians, have that red dot, right? It comes from a fairy tale because it comes from one of their gods, where I want to say it was Shiva, right? So Shiva was in love with some other god, and he cheated on her. He cheated on her with another goddess, whatever, and in solidarity with that, the one that got slighted, they put menstrual blood on their forehead, that red dot, to show you that they're with that with that goddess, right? So over time, they went from the menstrual blood to just putting like a red dot, but originally it was the menstrual blood that they put on their forehead.
So the women will put that on their head to show that they're with a certain.
Yeah, they were with that god. Not only women, men did it too. Yes. Yes, it is. And these and not only is that nasty. Just take that whole culture, the whole society. There's another famous East Indian man that you can pull up pictures on that you see he has that red dot on his head. His name is Gandhi. Mm-hmm. Do you know the philosophy of one of our so-called heroes came from Gandhi? Martin Luther King Jr. His whole doctrine of peaceful protests and if they beat you, let them continue beating you because you have peace. That comes from their doctrine, from a people who craps in the middle of the street. I am serious. They defecate in the middle of the street. They have running sewage running through the streets. The women and some of the men put menstrual blood on their foreheads. God knows what kind of bacteria goes on in that street food that they have, going out over there. And Martin Luther King chose one of their people as his hero to quote unquote lift black people up out of our condition. That's why that's one of the reasons why we got beat down so bad, is because we took a doctrine from another people that has nothing to do with us. And you know, honestly, that doctrine, we had that doctrine during this time of year before. It was Hanukkah. There was a group of men that took up arms and gathered their families and followed Mattathias into the wilderness so that they can fight the oppressor. And there was another group of people who saw what Mattathias did but didn't want to follow him. They went into the wilderness and they were put, you know, matter of fact, let's get that. Do you know where that is, Mattathias? Is in First Maccabees? Do you know Barak? Maccabees, where that second group didn't want to fight.
You talking the Sabbath service?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, and
Is in First Maccabees, right?
it's in First Maccabees. You talking about where they were gonna lay down or something like that?
Yeah.
They were gonna fight or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, we're gonna end the class on that. Is it First Maccabees 1? Did they even survive the first chapter? So I don't know.
You have a clipboard up there. You might have to read it. I don't think I would read it.
All right, no sweat, no sweat.
So, can I ask one more question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a specific verse to
Matthias, if you could find that, Baba Kashaw.
What's that, sir?
If you could find that.
Come on.
All right. Yeah, Slaki, you had some?
Is there a specific verse to show that locks are a nation? We're not supposed to wear locks.
So the question is there a specific verse that says locks are for another nation, right?
Anything of that sort.
So what makes you think the locks are? Like, why would you think that locks are for us in particular?
I was told one of the sisters at the bottom of the school had to cut off the locks. Of our nation. And then another little boy won the locks, and the captain said that he couldn't get them because it wasn't.
Yeah, no, 100% correct. But yeah, so I was saying, why do you think that it was, or did you ever think that it was?
Yeah, I did.
So why did you think that it was like our culture?
Maybe because of the metal vest.
Get us his we make everything, you know, stylish and you know, acceptable. I understand what you're saying, but I was asking that because people, especially, you know, people who are really into the lock culture, you know, they claim to say that Samson had locks. That's what they claim to say. Samson has 7 locks. So that's what they put in their hair, and they, you know, they a lot people who are really into it, they would have 7, you know, dreadlocks in their hair or in their head and whatnot to show, you know, that Samson in the Bible had it. But really, that's not the case, because if you had a, you know, what can you do with a lock? What is the purpose of a lock? No, a real lock, like a, you know, like right there on the door. What is the purpose of that? Lock it and unlock it. When you put what people call locks in your hair, can you take it out? What do you have to do?
You gotta cut it.
Okay, so if you have a lock on your house, on your door, and you're going home, and the only way to get in is to cut it out, is that a good lock? No, its purpose is to open and close it. What Samson had and what people are calling locks is what real locks are, is what you have in your hair right now. You can unlock it and you can lock it back up. That's what the locks are. Now, as far as what they had and what the young brother wanted to have, is something from East Indians, and particularly it was Shiva, who was a goddess in India, who had these dirty, nasty, matted hair, dead hair that they took from that they had, and they worshiping their goddess from that. So they had locks, dead plaited hair, matted together, and that's what it represents. It represents the worship of that goddess Shiva. What we did was we took it and we made that junk stylish. We made it look so clean and whatnot. Whereas the East Indians, when they have it, it is dirty, it's nasty, it's dingy. What we do with it, even though it's wrong, it just looks better. We take a whole lot of sin and make it look stylish. How do I know this? Because just like you said, we take the locks, which is the worship of another god. That's what it was originated for. They worshiping another god, and we made it look stylish. We take smoking weed, that's worshiping, another god. We dig it up from the earth, and we take it and we burn it. We worship another god. We make that stylish. Everybody want to smoke weed. We take I ain't gonna say that, but we take stripping, and we make that stylish. We take being a drug addict, and we make that stylish. We unfortunately, some of the things that we do, because not everything that we do, because we take looking preppy, we make that thing look stylish. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, I know you probably seen Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? They had a uniform on. He stood out with the uniform that he had on. So we can take lawful things and make it, even more stylish and more acceptable and trendy that everybody wants to do it. And then we also take, unfortunately, because we're destroyed and we have no fear of the Most High God, because Christianity doesn't teach us that we should fear the Most High God. We take all sorts of wickedness and make it stylish. Here's another thing: crabs and crawfish, seafood boil, gumbo, and shrimp and whatnot. We made that garbage stylish. When all of that is sin. All of that is sin. We should not be indulging in none of that nonsense, that crap. Did that answer your question? Okay, so really, no sweat. Really, it's the reason why people think, especially Christians, think that that's dreadlocks are not a sin, is because they see that that in the Bible it says Samson had locks, 7 locks, when really he had 7 braids, because he can unlock it and lock it back up. The thing that people are saying is locks now is the worship of that East Indian Queen Sheba. So we have nothing to do with that. That's why we don't do dreadlocks. It's a worship of another god. And that's rule number 1. Thou shalt not worship no other god before me. No sweat. Okay, Marthea, I had you holding something. What was that?
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 27 through 37.
27 through 37. So they made it to the second one. Read hold on. Okay. So y'all can read up. I'm gonna let y'all know what this is saying, but y'all can read up First Maccabees chapter 2, 27 through 37. So first, Mattathias was told everybody, if you are zealous for the Most High God, follow me. There were some men who took whatever and followed Mattathias. There was also some men who was inspired by what Mattathias did and said, well, we can do it, but we don't have to do it like he's doing it. We don't have to follow him. So let's all do it ourselves. The king's men heard what happened. The king heard what happened, and he sent down an army to go and reason with them and say, "Hey, do what we tell you to do, or we're going to, we're going to put you to death. We're going to expire you." Right? So they found him, but they didn't find Mattathias and his men. They found these guys, and they surrounded them and said, and basically say, "Do what we tell you to do, or you're going to suffer the consequences." And since it was the Sabbath, and they said they thought that they couldn't do anything on the Sabbath, they just let them slaughter them. Yes. Read 37 real quick.
Khan. It's the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 37.
Hold on, read 34.
Khan, verse 34. But they said, "We will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day."
So they told them to eat the pork and do it on the Sabbath day. And it was like, or we're going to expire your life, right? We're going to activate your life support. We're going to not life support. We're going to activate your life insurance, right? This is what they said. And they said, "Well, we ain't going to do that." Keep reading.
So then they gave them the battle with all speed.
They brought them the business. They was like, "Oh, you ain't? Okay, no problem." So they came down bearing on them with all speed. Keep going.
Howbeit, they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid.
So they said they didn't even fight back. They didn't even hide. Keep reading.
Khan, verse 37. But said, "Let us die all in our innocent."
So they said, we innocent. Let us die. Let the world see that we died innocently. Whereas George Floyd died innocently. Sandra Bland died innocently. Tamir Rice died innocently. Breonna Taylor died innocently. All these people died innocently. What happened to those? What's a brother from Colorado?
In the train station?
No, not in the train station. That was Oakland. Salaki. It was a brother who had a ski mask on because he was anemic.
I know you're talking about him.
He was anemic. Salaki, if I don't remember his brother's name. But he was stopped and he was red rummed by the police. The police who red rummed him just got off innocent. They was found innocent for his red rum. They died innocently. What was the justice for them? There was no justice done for them. None. Keep reading. You on mute. Mataya, you on mute.
Slack it. Verse 37. But said, "Let us die, all in our innocent. Heaven and earth shall testify for us, that you put us to death wrongfully."
So this is wrong. You keep reading one more verse, Baba Kashar.
Okay. Verse 38. So they rose up against them in the battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them.
Then they slew the men. Keep going.
With their wives.
Keep going.
And children.
And their children. Keep going. Is that it?
And their cattle.
And they killed their cattle.
To the number of 1,000 people.
So they red rummed 1,000 people because they didn't want to stand up and defend themselves on the Sabbath day. That's the difference between following the man that the Most High God put in charge and following someone who thinks they got the truth. That's the difference between commanding General Yahanna and everybody else. They say everybody can have the truth. No, everybody can't have the truth. Everybody can't have the truth under the man that the Most High God ordained. If you're not under that man that the Most High God ordained, there is a very real possibility that you can wind up like the men, the women, the children, and the cattle that was here in this story right now.
Anyone else that have sympathy for what's going on and can't remember when their kids died and
You talking about in Gaza? And they want us to have sympathy. Now I can empathize with what's going on, but I have too much time. There's so much going on with my people that I can't care. Salakia. You just heard me rattle off a bunch of names that my people is going through right now. You just heard at the beginning of this class what was one of the missions that we just got off of, that we went up to New York to help our brothers and sisters up there. I can't go over there and worry about those people. I need to worry about my people. Why? Because no one else worries about our people.
That's right.
So we have to worry about our people. Let the rest of the world worry about them, because the rest of the world doesn't care about us. And with that, Salakia, I'm gonna read the security announcements. After which, Mataya, you gonna call the class? All right.
Come.
All right. Security announcements. We're the I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother and sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves with the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3:8-10. It means 10th in Hebrew, and it's pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you get to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation. We are currently in the Feast of Dedication, which is called Hanukkah. It started on 7 November, and it will for the space of 8 days. This is the 25th day of the 9th month. By the space of 8 days, you can find this in First Maccabees, chapter 4, 52 through 61. The following high holy day after that will be the Purim, which is the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month. That is Thursday, February 22nd, and Friday, February 23rd, 2024. That is in Esther 9:20 through 31. And to be honest with you, that's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite stories in the Bible right there, because that's a sister that goes up, that stands on business. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to tune in to the feast of to Purim and find out how Esther stood on business.
Right.
Yo, Salakia. Like I said, that's one of my favorite Jones. Let me continue. Remind Akim and Agwathim to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirt, black pants, black headband, or scarf. With that, I say Amajum, which means stand. My hands on you.
Come. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amajim, Salaki. Amajim,
Mayim Shabbat.
Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yajimata,
Sorry.
Star. Sisters, you may stand. We will give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amajim Shabbat, Margin. Barak.
Yeah, I was smart by Shem Yahweh. Yahanna, class is finished.